ಬಂದಿದೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಹಿರಿಯರೇ ಇತರ ರಾಜ ರಾಣಿ, ಹತ್ತೋಣ ನಾವು ಅವರ ನೆನಪಿನ ದೋಣಿ, ಕೇಳುತ್ತಾ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಖುಷಿ ಪಡೋಣ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿ. ಇದು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಕತೆ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರ ವಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಿ, ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರಿ. Hello listeners, this is your RJ Chandana and I welcome you all to Anubhav, a joint project of National Institute of Social Defence, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India and Media for Community Foundation, implemented by Nightingales Medical Trust. Project conceived by Dr. R. Sridhar, Project Investigator Alok Verma, Coordinators Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha and Kaushalya. Government of India has initiated an elder line toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 am to 8 pm for any questions, queries and support to elderly. Trips are more memorable. Today we have Mrs. Lalitha Rao, who is recapturing her trip to South Africa in 2012. We are excited to hear her experience. Over to Mrs. Lalitha Rao.
Recapitulating my trip to South Africa. My husband is a keen golfer and Addicts Golfing Society used to arrange tours all over the world, and in 2012 February, they organized a trip to South Africa. We decided to take the chance. It was end of February that some 17 of us boarded the plane to go to South Africa. It was a long flight, almost taking 12 to 14 hours. But we had good company, so we did not feel much strain, and enthusiasm to reach Cape Town kept us in good spirits. Africa was once called the Dark Continent as it was unexplored, but the Dutch had already landed there and had established their trade. It was Vasco da Gama who reached Cape of Good Hope, as we have learnt in history, and later the British established and colonized it. We reached Cape Town, and after the passing through the customs came out of the airport and reached our Hotel Protea. It was facing a hill and was on an elevated region with lovely surroundings. While passing through the town, we realized the roads were broad and very clean. The houses were beautiful and were owned mostly by very rich people who were movie stars from Hollywood and Bollywood. Early morning next day, we went round the city visiting Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. Lovely flowers and so many types of plants. We observed on the way there were many wine orchards and wine tasting centers. We went to Anura Wine Estate. They showed us how wine is prepared and how it is stored. The longer it is stored, the better it is. They had glasses of wine kept of different ages and varieties for visitors to taste. It was the first time I had been to one such place. It was very interesting. Next morning, we drove to the Victoria waterfront. We took a steam launch and went to Seal Islands in Hot Bay. We saw innumerable seals basking in the sun on rocks. It reminded me of the stories of mermaids I read when I was a kid. From there, of course, they are mammals, marine mammals, and from there we proceeded to Penguin Colony at Boulders Beach. This time it was penguins, big and small, mothers and babies, standing cocking their heads and necks, watching us pass by. I wondered, are we watching them or are they gazing at us? We are the strangers. Anyway, the black and white animals silhouetted on the rocks looked like dolls in our Navaratri doll festival. Some of them were walking with awkward tilt sideways of their bodies, with their flippers to their side. A funny sight indeed. They reminded me of pregnant women walking side to side. Anyway, some of them were walking, playing on the white sand beach. The penguins are flightless birds with a streamlined body. The ones in the Antarctica are great in size, but the ones in tropical regions are not so big. That evening, we took a tour of the sea in a cruise. It was relaxing. We sat ourselves comfortably round tables and drinks of choice and hot crispies was served. The view of the mountains, sea around us was eye soothing and it was relaxing. Following day, we were visiting the Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was kept in a prison for almost 18 years from 1964. The ride in the sea in a motorboat took 40 minutes, and I, being seasick, had an ordeal. But we reached safely. This island is just above sea level and has the prisons which house the black political prisoners. The cell where Mandela was kept was only 2 by 2. Floor was the bed, a rough blanket, and a closed bucket for a toilet. That's all they had. Mandela was a tall man, and we could not imagine how he spent 18 years there. No communication with the outer world, but he managed and stayed sane. The prisoners were made to work in limestone quarries. Dogs would um, guard them and hunt them. And these limestones were so bright, would make them blind. Their hands were full of blisters breaking these stones. They had to fight with these dogs guarding them too. It was real hell. How men can be so cruel to another human being, I wondered. Nelson Mandela was, as you all know, who won the award Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. I feel he won the award rightfully after he withstood such cruelty and hardship. Next morning, after breakfast, we went to Victoria waterfront. That is a dock where lots of ships and boats are docked. It is a beautiful sight. We took a steam launch and reached the other side. Then started the journey up by the cable car to the tabletop mountain. The scenery was so beautiful. It is one of the world's seven wonders. This cable car is round and quite big, unlike the others in Europe where only 4 to 6 can sit. These cars can take almost 20 to 25 people. There are glass panels around, allowing us standing in the center to view the surroundings. On reaching the top, we realize the tabletop mountain is flat on top and is like a plateau, hence the name Tabletop Mountain. And it spreads from east in the Devil's Peak to the west in the Lion's Head. The Table Mountain is spread 3 kilometers from side to side. There are small shrubs between stone ridges of different shapes and sizes, and I have never seen anything like that before. There is a cafe too on top and two lighthouses. And on top, we can see the Atlantic Ocean meeting the Indian Ocean. The two oceans are marked so well with different colors. The dashing water waves against the rocks is a spectacle. There in the cafe, we had hot chocolate, which was refreshing. After touring the length, we returned to the cable car and we were back to Cape Town. This tabletop mountain belongs to the Silurian or Ordovician age, and its height is 3,558 feet above sea level. It is called Maclear's Beacon after the man who built a stone cairn at the site in 1865. The common animal found on the mountain is a guinea pig like rock hyrax. After the top, this tabletop mountain is about 240 million years old and is one of the oldest in the world. I was lucky to have visited this place. Early next morning, we took buses which were very luxurious and comfortable and traveled eastwards towards Outshun. And on the way at the foothills of Svalbard Range, we stopped and climbing a little reached the mouth of the Congo caves. Inside we can see stalagmite and stalagmite formations. The caves are nearly 4 kilometers long, but only quarter of it is accessible by tourists. Some of the formation fall from the roof, creating amazing structures, while others rise from the floor. And the formations are intricate, and you can imagine they form so many shapes. Some places you can hardly squeeze past, whereas at others you have to climb to a height. For an imaginative mind, the shapes and forms can tell stories. One can't explain or spell out the types these formations take shapes. One has to see to imagine these crystal forms. Rough as they look beautiful. As we proceeded, we reached Highgate Ostrich Ranch. In a wide area barricaded were so many ostriches. These are flightless big birds. They have long legs and long necks, a small bald head. The body is heavy in the center, and so they can run but can't fly. The long neck is used as a lasso or a hammer, and they can crack your skull with hitting with the beak. Their eggs are very big. They are the biggest birds and can grow up to 9 feet and can weigh up to 320 pounds. Eyes are 2 inches in diameter. They only have 2 toes on each foot. They get water from the plants they eat, and they stay in deserts of Africa and dry lands, can stay without taking water for a long time. What amazing creatures! By evening, we reached Karega Wild Game Sanctuary. As it was late, we straight went to our chalte, which was independent cottages built in wood and could accommodate 2 couples in a cottage. It was very nice and comfortable. The morning sun rise from the balcony was breathtaking. Gold, yellow, amber, orange, red, blue, and black. The sky was plattered with such hues. Next morning, we took a ride in jeep with Shan, the ranger. Seeing so many wild animals like lions, zebra, giraffe, stags, elephants. Elephants were different than our Indian elephants. They had large ears and they were different in type. Found cheetah, rhinos, antelopes, oryx, savanna, kudu, warthog, wild beast, leopards, baboon, crocodiles, so forth, and so many more. The best part is that they live in their natural habitat and live with such harmony. There is eco friendliness everywhere. They watched us as we outsiders were in jeeps or in enclosures within. It is worth visiting. In the evening, we went on a cruise and could see the thick vegetation all around. After all, it's a tropical country. From here, we went to Johannesburg. It's a big city and the capital of Gauteng province. And it's the home of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. It has a lot of sightseeing and shopping, but we were told that there was gambling and nightlife and was not too safe. So we stayed in the hotel and moved on to Livingstone in Zimbabwe. We moved and stayed in a hotel close to the Victoria Falls. After having a welcome drink, freshening up, we walked down through the rainforest wearing thick raincoats and holding umbrellas. The trail took us to the Victoria waterfalls. We could hear the thundering noise of the waterfall from quite a distance. Maybe that's why it is known as Mosiwa Tunya, meaning smoke that thunders. The name is apt. That is what we realized when we went and viewed the waterfall. It is the seventh wonder of the world. It is considered the largest waterfall in the world. Its height at the center is 108 meters high. We walked on the other side. There was perhaps a distance of 3 kilometers to 5 kilometers between the waterfalls and us. But the water falling into the gorge below threw up sprays of water so forcefully that it drenched us to the skin, in spite of our umbrella and raincoats and the distance. It is spectacular and awe-inspiring. No words to describe its beauty and greatness and its gorgeousness. We returned from our trip, and even after 10 years, the beauty and the vision comes back to me, visualizing the trip. If you get a chance, never miss it. Visit, you must.
Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am, for sharing such lovely experience from your trip. Listeners, I hope you too enjoy the program. Stay tuned to Hiriyaravani for more such programs. Government of India has initiated an elder line toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries and support to elderly. Bye for now. Take care.